that community, that building of your network is so vital.
Give me chills.
To your health, right? How can you, nobody's an island.
I'm here with my dear friend, Michelle Johnson. And she has been so kind as to lend her home to us while we are on our 2-week train tour. My name is Carrie Crosby. I'm the CEO and founder of ATBA Impact Group, where we make it a conscious effort to plant positive seeds of change on a consistent basis. So as I've been traveling, I have been wanting to ask everybody the same question, because ATBA Impact Group's mission is to build community, to plant those positive seeds of change. And we're not just trying to follow in the footsteps of all the other people that have done so, and we are very grateful for, but we're trying to kind of expand the mold to where we can eventually break it, so that we don't have to be in the confines of what we've been doing in order to create change of what we want to see, because in order to create something different, you have to try something different. So we've just been asking everybody what it is in the community that they feel like needs to be enhanced, or if there's something in the community that's missing that they want to see in the community. So we're in Calhoun, Georgia, and which is right outside, about an hour away from Atlanta. And you've been living here for how long?
4 years.
4 years. Good stuff, good stuff. So extending an invitation for you to answer that question. What is it in your community that you'd like to see, or if there's something in the community that you actually like that you want to see enhanced or see more of?
Well, I really like that we have so much open space. I like that there are kids out and able to play basketball and have room to run. I mean, I grew up in Chicago, and sometimes you couldn't go outside. There wasn't wide open places to run, and you had to be careful where you had to go. So I really love that there's space and opportunity to do so. But one of the things I really would like to see enhanced in our community is the diversity of people, the diversity of thought, and the ability for our kids to play together without so much of the racial divide.
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of that, and that in not just from African Americans, but I think it's more prevalent because we know how much we need to feel that community aspects in neighborhoods where we live, where everybody may not look like us. Because it really doesn't, it boils down to not the help, because you don't need help raising your own children, or even help just living your own life. But when you have someone next door that if something goes awry, if something doesn't look right, you are included in the conversation to make sure the neighborhood maintains its calmness, its peace, its safety net. And when you're not part of that conversation, it breaks down that aspect of community.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, I mean, I get that, and I feel like that's very, very important. I know we were talking to your husband earlier and to your son, and it seems like there is room for a lot of expansion in this community. So, in living in different places, and knowing what's out there, and because you've traveled all over, you've traveled to different countries, you've traveled different continents, all of that. Looking at what you've seen, what are some of the things that you've seen that are part of a community that you want to be a part of? Like, if you could pick and choose from the different communities and build your own, what are those things that have stood out to you?
Well, when we lived in Durham, I loved in Durham, North Carolina, how no matter where you lived, there were all different kinds of people, and everybody played outside together. That was a really neat thing. I would take that from there. Going to Cuba, what I really appreciated was how so many people were outside doing things together. So like they had the older folks have their exercise group outside. They had the kids have their exercise group outside. They were running and playing games, and you just saw how everybody in the neighborhood watched out for everybody else.
Right.
Even like the older woman going to the grocery store with her bags, you could see the people at the bus stop making sure to move out of her way and help her.
Right.
And so I think that that's something that I would take from Cuba. I think that everywhere you go, there's a different kind of vibe to the area. And I think for us in the United States, where we're starting to see more and more, even before COVID, that people are more in the house. People are more in their electronics and video games, and we're not outside anymore.
Right, that's very true.
So it's a big deal, because in my stress reduction and helping people, it's always, hey, get outside.
Right.
Put your feet in the ground.
Right.
Feel what the earth feels like, because getting back to nature and the creation is what we innately need in our body.
Absolutely. That is a big thing. And I like that you brought up that your stress-free workshop, because that's something that is very, very powerful for people that are longing for a sense of community, because even within different groups and different coaching programs, you can build that sense of community. So you know, who don't go through stress? I mean, come on. A 2-year-old is stressed out if they don't get what they want, you know what I mean? But at least they can kick and scream. But when we get to adult, that's just inappropriate. So we have to think of different and creative ways to get rid of that stress, to reduce that stress, if not get rid of it. So tell us a little bit about the program and what it offers to people, because even when you're thinking about community, when there's a community switch, like whether you're moving to a community that otherwise isn't what you thought it was going to be, or you get into a community and you really like it and you're just trying to find that sense of belonging, those all causes different levels of stress for different reasons. So tell us a little bit about your program and how you help individuals manage stress.
Oh, absolutely. So stress is such a big deal that it's about 77% of the reason why people go to the doctor. Stress exacerbated illness, things like diabetes, cholesterol, lupus, autoimmune disorders, like everything has that common denominator of stress. So many of us are walking around sick and tired. And so what I noticed in the exam room taking care of patients, and what I noticed with my clients, is that when we can bring that stress level down with some unique and creative tips, things that maybe we never tried before, try in our toolbox, that we can actually make life-changing transformations. What I've seen is people come off of 10, 12 medicines down to maybe 2 or none. I've seen people lose dramatic amounts of weight. I've seen people heal their family situations, because realistically, when we close ourselves off with those bad feelings, with the stressed out, with the snapping on people, with the, you know, I'm going to eat 15 pounds of ice cream instead of talking about my feelings, you know. All that stuff really just brings us into a space of isolation. When it's been proven over and over again that having a resilient personality, having a community, having people you can lean on, really changes the direction of your life. And so when you talk about community and the stress that it takes off of you, I know for me, living in a basement apartment, surviving off $141 in food stamps, when I was going through my disability fight, the fact that my auntie lived upstairs, the fact that I had people down the street that let me borrow their car, the fact that I always had someone to take care of my son if I didn't feel well, that community, that building of your network is so vital.
Give me chills.
To your health, right? How can you, nobody's an island. And we all gonna have stuff happen with us.
That's right.
What is now or what is later.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's important to build your community, to build your tribe, to build your people to lean on. And then when you're the strong one, people get to lean on you, because that feels good too.
Yes,
right?
It does.
It feels good when you can help somebody else with their situation through your strengths. And so like you were talking about with community, what we all do is we come together and build strength to strength. Iron sharpens iron.
Iron sharpens iron.
So
indeed.
one man sharpens another. And so we need each other, and we need to stop acting like we don't need each other. There's so much of this go out there and be independent garbage.
Listen, and then what?
I'm
if you
not
all by
saying don't
yourself,
take responsibility for your life. I'm not saying don't take responsibility for your things you need to take responsibility
Right.
for. But there is nothing individual about that.
Nope.
As a community, as a people, as a human race, we are all communities all over. And so when you're choosing what community you're going to build and be a part of, that's what you want to bring. You want to bring, hey, how can I use my talents to help what's here? And how can I actually lean on the talents that are here? Like legal services, tax services, all the things we need to run our whole life. You need some help.
Right. Yeah.
So get the help you need from
Right.
the expert you need.
Right.
You know,
Absolutely.
I'm not a community building expert.
Right.
I'm going to call Carrie.
Hey, let's do
You know,
it.
can you help me? I need community.
Yeah.
I need people around me that I can lean on and that I can pour into. And so, you know, you're not the stress expert. I'm the stress expert. I'm going to help you with the self-care and actually digging down to the who am I so that I can actually know what I want to do versus what everybody done told me.
Right.
Because that's that individual piece. You have to know who you are. You have to take responsibility for who you are and then bring it to the collective.
Yeah.
So that's my 2 cents.
That's good. That's a good 2 cents right there. I spend that all day. Like that, like it rain, like it rain. It's funny because I was upstairs in your son's room and I was looking through his old homework notebooks and I wrote a little message in there and it said, creation is a responsibility and the only responsibility that we have is the creation of oneself. Because until we can bring ourselves to the table, we won't have the aptitude or the bandwidth or the know-how to amplify others. Because you can't amplify others when you're trying to be who they are. You water them down because you're just picking pieces of from what they've done. If you honestly just bring yourself to the table, that's what really builds community because you are doing what you do so that other people can do what they do. And no one's trying to compete. They're just trying to really strongly be the link in that chain that they need to be so that the whole thing can stand even stronger. So I love that. And you do the stress reduction. And that's good stuff. Woo-hoo-hoo! What amazing words. I appreciate you, sis. And like she's saying, like when you go to the community, it's good to be the strong one and to be the one to help. That's her for us. To this day, yesterday. True. So thank you. I greatly appreciate you. And I hope we have enhanced your life in some way just by our presence being here because you certainly have enhanced ours. And we are indebted to you. So I love it. I love it. Thank you. I appreciate you. Don't forget High Five! We got High Five coming up July 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. First is the VIP day where we're going to have all sorts of fun. We're going to have some relaxing things happening, some fun things happening, some dancing happening, a lot of good eating happening. You do not want to miss the VIP day. Please join us. The tickets are on sale. It's a culture link. It's floating out there. It's floating everywhere. Just click on it. Get your tickets. Stop waiting. But the other 3 days are going to be just as amazing because everybody's really VIP in our eyes. But we're going to have a cookout. We're going to have an adult field day. We might even have some face paint, y'all. I don't know yet. But y'all better come on and see. Don't miss it, all right? So I love you, and I thank you for spending time with us as always. Yeah.